laid down his glory, and he came down to us in the form of a child, and so on and so forth. Not that he was not God while he was here, the years that he walked the earth, but he gave up his glory. He gave up his divinity, and he was still God, and he did that because he wanted to make sure that what he was doing was setting an example for us as he humbled himself to the point of becoming a servant and even to the death on the cross. He came to serve, not to be served. And that's why we, in our example, that's why it's like a paradox almost. In giving, we get rewarded. We get salvation by giving ourselves sacrificially. That might sound strange to somebody that's not a believer because they say, no, I don't understand that. How can I gain heaven by my giving? Because God gave. And he expects us to be able to give, not to glorify man, but to give to help each other. The word says that we're supposed to put each other, esteem another one higher than ourselves. And then the other thing there again was like going back to where I was talking about with Jeremiah and the people. Even in the case of Jeremiah and the people going into bondage and whatever else, Jeremiah still had hope and he trusted in the faithfulness of God because he knew that God, based on his promises and whatever else, was not going to leave them in the situations that they were. He never left them. They left him. His covenant still stands. And the fact remains today in 2019. That's why I said whatever we did in 2018, you can't undo it, but you can learn from it.
That's right.
And the fact of learning, one of the things that we need to learn from it is that there is no turning back. God wants us to continue to trust and be faithful in our obedience to him and to love one another and not to do the things that are the worldly things, but those things that are going to glorify him. So that he says that, okay, you did it. Just like a lot of times you hear people say, well, who was the reason that you did this? And a lot of times we do things out of selfish motives. And we've all been guilty of that. The word says that, if we say that we have no sin, then we lie and we deceive ourselves, because we do. We might in our mind try to make ourselves think that we are so good and we don't have no sin. But the Bible said if you say that you have no sin, you deceive yourself and you lie, and the truth is not in you.
That's right.
So we don't want to be in that situation of deceiving ourselves, not even going to the point of lying. Because the enemy, the evil one, wants you to think instead of trusting and believing in the faithful one. So no turning back basically means that all of the promises of God are still true and that we can go into his word, and no matter what the situation is, like he says, I'll be with you through the waters, through the floods, and whatever else until the end of the age. And we can trust and believe in that. And we're living witnesses of it because we didn't bring ourselves through 2018. We might think that we did, but we didn't bring ourselves through 2018.
That's right.
It was only because God's mercy, his grace and his mercy.
That's right.